Definitely be surprised what we found on this. It's everything that the mainstream media has not told you and what they're lying to you about. They're literally just barefaced lying at this point. There's no covering this up. This isn't some conspiracy view. It's nothing of that. It's literally taking the data that they're using, and we're going to show you guys what exactly is going on in America. It's not what you think it is. Most of these cases are done by young black men. Basically, there's some type of an assault. They will like push some Asian person, and then like call them a name or try to rob them of like their purse or something, like a female.
But we have to ask the question is, okay, what was the real intent of the interaction in the first place? Like, say, a verbal altercation over a parking spot, right? Where they get in a fight and the guy just throws out the word, gook or whatever and spits on the person. Is that a hate crime, or is it a crime that it just got out of hand and the guy didn't know anything else to do?
The media is making this perception that there's some kind of like Nazi white supremacist hate going on in the United States against Asians. When you look into the details, that is not what is going on at all. A hate crime should be when they're doing it specifically out of hate. So, like with the black man, was it in Georgia? Was that right? That right there, yeah. Like that one definitely looked like a hate crime. Um, I think it was charged as murder. What's going on in New York City? Like, why is there such an increase in Asian hate crime? Like I said, we don't really know if there's an increase because the statistics is so bad. Right here, assault in Queens. Man accused of stabbing an Asian man Thursday outside the federal courthouse in Chinatown in New York City was arraigned. Salman Mufili, so I don't know, probably a Middle Eastern guy. He had previously assaulted someone before, by the way. Here's one of the cases, the guy that got slashed in the face. Here's your suspect photo right there. And even the description of some of the perpetrators, one of them I saw was like a Louis Vuitton bandana. I don't know a lot of white people wearing that. Told to go back to China in coronavirus hate in East Harlem. The 59-year-old victim was walking south on Madison Avenue when an apparent teenager kicked him in the back, causing him to fall to the ground around 7:50 p.m. Chinese expletive Chinese virus, he said, telling the victim to go back to his country. And when it's coming down to the police reports, they're putting down it as like a racially motivated thing. These people are voting for Biden, but they're stating like they're using racist terminology. So to me, it just feels really twisted and warped by the media. So we're looking at a total for actual crimes against anti-Asians offenses is 205 for 2019. So it's dropping all the way down to 2016. So Trump comes in. I believe hate crime in general was kind of on the rise once he came in. Almost 4,000 incidents. But let's keep in mind, well, I think they've only done that this survey this year. So we have nowhere to measure this from, by the way. There's nowhere to measure this. We can't come to last year. We can't come to the year before. We don't know. We just know there were like 4,000 incidents during the coronavirus pandemic, by the way. 3 in 10 Americans report having experienced, Asian Americans report having experienced racial slurs or jokes since the beginning of the pandemic. I don't know if that matters because I don't know what it was like before that. So thanks, Pew Research. Great research you're doing out there. Not trash. Online harassment, I think, is completely dumb because people can just be trolls online. They might not even be racist. They could just be trolling people and they just want to be mean. Women report hate incidents 2.3 times more than men. So I don't know. Women just report the incidents more. I don't really know if that means anything. They just report it more.
If another dude spits on me, right, I'm more likely just to shave him down a few inches instead of reporting it to the police. Versus women may be like, hey, look, that gentleman over there just spit on me. That's a reported incident, and it's a legitimate incident. But I think there's a bit of a cultural issue and I guess manhood issue or whatever.
Yeah. I came into the coffee shop at Mercado, and people started leaving the area where I sat one by one. People started coming in. They sat on the other side of the coffee shop away from me. I became isolated on one side of the coffee shop. So this is count as shunning avoidance. Like, this is so questionable because I feel like you really need the context here. Like, this could happen to me. Verbal harassment is at 66%. So this is someone just stating something. This is just an incident, which is important if you're measuring, I guess, hate incidents, not crimes. Crimes itself are done mostly at people's residences. But the incidents here, I guess, happen at businesses mostly. Almost 150% surge in hate crimes. Wow, 150%. So, Kenny, 150%, if I went from 5 hate crimes per se in a city and I went up 150%, that's going to give me 7. So it went up by 2. Wow. All right, we got San Diego. All right, so 150%. Went up by 1. All right. Cincinnati 1. Chicago, it's the same. All right, Phoenix, it went up by same. Denver, it went up by 3. Houston, 3. DC, it went down. Okay, what is going on? San Jose, 6. Okay, that's measurable. I wonder what the population of Asians in California is. Seattle is 3. Los Angeles about doubled. Boston, sorry, 8. So that's pretty, that's like a doubling. New York City, 3 to 28. Woo, that's a lot of. We're also going to show you how the shooter is not a white supremacist, or he's not racist.
Claim that it was not racially motivated. He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction.
Police arrested Long as he was heading to Florida, where he said he planned to kill more people in the sex industry. A man called Tyler Bayless said that he shared a room with Robert Long in a Georgia rehab facility last year. Bayless was there for drugs, but Long was there for sex addiction. Quote, "It was something that absolutely would torture him," Bayless said, speaking of his sex addiction. And while at the facility, Long frequently relapsed and went, quote, "to massage parlors explicitly to engage in sex acts." A 9th victim, 30-year-old Alicias Hernandez-Ortiz, remains in the hospital tonight in critical condition. According to police, Hernandez-Ortiz had nothing to do with prostitution whatsoever. He just happened to be walking past a massage parlor on the way to another business when Long shot him.
It just looks and definitely seems like there's not a hate crime going on here at all. It just so happened to be this was the target in this case. And they're trying to connect the two things that don't exist of white men and hate crimes in America against Asians.
Is it any different from a drug addict who consistently goes back to drugs, tries to get help, and then at some point it's not working and he snaps and kills his drug dealer because he's tired of doing it, right? People do it not as a hate against Chinese per se, but it's because they're trying to get out and say, look, you can tell us whatever you want. We know where it came from. Why are you making a big? So they're making a big deal of the fact that they can't say it. It's not because they hate Chinese. As far as like Mr. Long visiting, an Asian massage parlor, right? Is that because he preferred Asians, or because there wasn't any other kinds of massage parlors available? Like, is there like a white version? Is there a black version? Yeah. Is there a Middle Eastern version or a Hispanic version? Hey, thanks for watching the Red, White, and Matt Show with Kenny. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for another American Experience.